Raveline 2K7. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Here we are, Star Trek Sunday, and look who's here with us.
Hello, it's me, Keira C. Georgeson.
And me, Stu Jackson. You're feeling much better now, aren't you, Keira?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, if anyone was wondering where I went last week, I pulled a muscle in my non-existent abs when I was doing jiu-jitsu. So I was lying down, recovering, and drinking wine.
Do you know what I've been saying for many, many years, that all this exercise thing is not healthy for you at all?
Yeah, the only remedy is alcohol, that's for sure.
That's always the answer. So Keira, obviously this week you're not wearing makeup, so I thought I'd have a go this week instead. So here we are with my attempts at Klingon. So to our viewers, I had an attempt. I nearly took it off, but I thought, actually, no, I'll leave it on because it shows the world just how good people like Keira and, of course, our friend Ed with his True Spots, and, of course, recently doing his amazing Andorian cosplay. You know, it just shows how good these people really, really are, because this is what you get when an amateur tries.
Thank you, Stu. I appreciate your sacrifice to make me look good on a day where I have completely forgotten my entire makeup bag and I have to do a live stream with no makeup on. So thank you.
You look amazing anyway. And hello, Captain Quinn. Great to see you too. So we have a fantastic show lined up for everyone, makeup or not, don't we, Keira?
Yes, it's an exciting week. It's back to Voyager this week for another deep dive into the episode. Well, do you want to tell everybody? This is your bit.
Yeah, no worries. We are going to be reviewing the episode, and here's why I've got this background: Tsunkatse.
Hey. And then we're doing the deep dive into recurring actors in different roles. Ooh.
Yes.
We all know who's in that.
Yes. And we will be paying a visit to the Divine Treasury, and something rather special coming up there.
Ooh, I wonder what it could be. And then to finish off, well, obviously, you know, it's your Divine Treasury. And then, as always, we'll be finishing off with the latest Star Trek news, which is a good week for news, I think. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about.
We do, and of course we've got 2 weeks worth of news because we thought we'd save it, because some of it is very much in your wheelhouse, Keira, so we'd save the news for your return. Captain Quinn has said that you're looking okay, Keira. Are you feeling better?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm feeling all right. I think just needed to rest my abs for a little while, and they're now on the mend, so hopefully I'll be back at jiu-jitsu and beating up men who are twice my size in no time at all.
Quite right too. So, speaking about beating up people twice your size.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even.
That's an excellent segue. Excellent segue there. So, the Voyager episode that we are looking at this week, Tsunkatse, was from the 6th series and was episode 15. It was released, or it aired rather, on the 9th of February in the year 2000. Oh, I remember it well.
Yeah, that was 11 days before my 6th birthday.
Do you know what? I'm gonna turn this round this week, because it was in fact 2 weeks before the birth of one of the regular cast members of Strange New Worlds.
Oh.
Do you feel old now, Keira?
A little bit, yeah. Which character is that?
We don't know which character yet. We've just been given the name of the actor, which I don't have to hand, so please don't ask.
All right, we'll come back to it.
But I did see it there. But other things were happening in the Trekverse at the time. Not a great deal, though, because Voyager was pretty much standalone, wasn't it, towards the end? But the Next Generation Season 3 was being released steadily on VHS at the time. There were also like a number of people died around that time who were quite heavily involved in Star Trek, but I don't want to dwell on that.
Oh dear. Oh.
That's quite sad.
Well, in this episode, we see Seven of Nine and Tuvok enslaved while on an away mission, which is actually supposed to be their shore leave, and they decide to go and do research on shore leave anyway, because that's just who they are as people, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tuvok is gravely injured, and Seven is forced to fight in a gladiatorial competitions. She fights one blue match, which is just a regular sort of wrestling match, and then a red match, which is a fight to the death.
Yes. Now, I've got a few questions about this episode, but I'm hoping you can help. No, I'm joking. I do have one major question about the episode, though. Very early on, it's established that Chakotay, as an anthropologist, as an aficionado of beating the crap out of people, he or sports as it's otherwise known, he knows all about Tsunkatse, and he explains it to other crew members, how it all works, what's involved. He knows intricate details about the pads on the hands and the feet and all the rest of it. How come he doesn't? Well, either is it the case that he has missed a major aspect of it, that some of them are to the death, or is it just that he's absolutely brutal and doesn't care?
I was thinking this too while I was watching it, and I was like, this is, quite a big deal. How has he missed this? But I'm thinking maybe as a tourist, he's gone and like explored the idea of it and has taken the idea to his crew members, but hasn't delved into it enough to understand that some of them are to the death. I mean, that's the way I sort of rationalized it in my head, because otherwise it makes no sense.
So that means he's not really done his research properly then.
Yeah, well.
But he's still introducing crew members to it. That's... Ooh. I mean...
Everybody makes mistakes.
As you and I know, it's writing sort of plot hole, and it's just like, let's not talk about that because... but if you look at it canonically, that is pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, I was watching it with Danny, actually, and he... the opening scene where you see them in the crowd, Danny just looked at me and went, "Prime directive." Like, what are they gonna do?
Danny, yes, love it, awesome. Like Danny. Yeah. And also the opening scene. The guy walks out into the arena and is like doing this for the crowd.
Yeah.
But we later find out the crowd's not there, so like he must have looked like a right prat just walking in, going to bare walls.
I mean, maybe he knew that it was being broadcast to the viewers and stuff like that, and he just wanted to sort of drum up some entertainment or something.
Maybe.
He's in on it. I'm not sure.
Maybe I'd have liked to have seen him do that to just bare walls though, and see him look like a brat.
that would have looked funny, I think.
Yeah. Captain Quint has mentioned that, of course, this was I believe it was the acting debut for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, wasn't it?
And what a debut it was.
Indeed.
So young.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I say acting debut, of course, there are some of us who believe that the whole wrestling thing is fake, and that is a form of acting anyway, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, no,
Probably
I'd agree
wouldn't
with
say that to Dwayne's face.
Oh. Yeah, so I think I think wrestling is kind of like, they stage it, and a bit of it is acting to sort of get the audience going and things like that. But I think acting in a TV show, when you've got lines to deliver and you've got like actual stuff to remember and choreography and things like that, is quite different. I think he did quite a good job, to be fair. What do you think?
I'm really cynical when it comes to sports stars coming into acting, partly because, and maybe you'll understand this, as an actual actor, it's like you can't just walk into it and do a good job, not without some sort of background in it. Comedians, I take a great deal that they're the exception to that rule. Comedians usually make fantastic actors because they have to be absolutely spot on with timing.
Yeah, they get the timing down.
Yeah, but when you look at like Vinnie Jones, who cannot act for toffee, I mean, he is shit. And I know that's perhaps an unpopular opinion, but he is awful.
He is pretty bad. There's quite a few sort of odd actors like that who just somehow keep getting roles, and I'm just like, why?
Because they're names.
It's the name.
Their names bring in money and they're bringing audiences, and production studios will rather go with someone who's a terrible actor, Benedict Cumberbatch, who will bring in people, than someone who is an amazing actor, Stu Jackson, but isn't a name.
I agree, and all about that actor Keira C. Georgeson, who hasn't had a major role for quite a while now, and I think if she were given a chance over, say, Keira Knightley, the audience could be wowed. Just saying.
Yeah. The key difference there is you are actually quite possibly going to go up for the same sort of roles as Keira Knightley. The chance of me going up against Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a very different casting type there.
Well, I know which one of you I'd rather hang out with, that's for sure.
I'll let Benedict know then. Right.
No, it's you. You're the one I'm going to Chicago with, not Cumberbatch. So there you go.
This is true. I didn't realise he'd offered.
He did. I turned him down. I said no. I have a Chicago friend. Thanks for the offer, but you were awful as Khan. I'm not into it.
I have a question for you actually about Chicago. I mean, we're going slightly off topic here, but given the absolutely disastrous efforts that I've made, will you do my alien makeup when we go to Chicago, please?
Yes, of course I will.
Fantastic.
I'm not going to walk around a Star Trek convention with you looking like that, that's for sure.
Well, you run a live stream to the public.
This is fine because I feel like it's just our friends.
Yeah, they are all our friends. This is very, very true. So, shall we give everyone some trivia about this episode, Tsunkatse, or is there anything else we want to say about it?
Oh, I was gonna mention the my favourite part of the episode. Actually, it's actually nothing to do with the main storyline at all. It's in the mess hall when I think it's Tom, Harry, B'Elanna, and someone else, and they're all just having a chat in the mess hall, and they're just laughing with each other, and it's just such a wholesome moment. Their little friendship group just gives me so much joy. Like that's the one part of the episode that I would rewatch.
Yes, well, it's Chakotay who's the other person, and they're having that banter about which is the most dangerous, boxing or Parisi squares.
Oh yeah, of course they are. Yeah, that's the one.
And they're all taking the piss out of Harry. Poor Harry. I mean, not only did he not get his promotion that he deserved so many times, but they take.
You're never going to let that go.
It's a fun little moment. No, never. And probably best we don't mention Tuvix either.
All right, you brought that up, not me.
But yeah, no, I mean that is a really nice little scene. I am a bit the whole concept of Star Trek characters being into these physically. I mean, you do jiu-jitsu, so I've never been one for fighting of any description. No,
and I think the reason I like jiu-jitsu more than like I've only just started doing it, so I'm not like an expert or anything, but I like it more than other forms of like martial arts because it's not all about like punching and kicking. It's a lot of it is just about strength and about self-defense, which I think is actually quite useful. I don't know how to punch or kick anyone, that's for sure.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah. What's the one where you do the katas, the movements? You know, a bit like Worf does.
Karate, taekwondo.
Might be taekwondo I'm thinking of, or jiu-jitsu. No, I forget now.
I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is a lot like just on the floor, basically.
Right.
Grappling.
Okay. Okay. I mean, if it's on the floor having a nap, I'd be, up front with that one. Okay. Excellent. So rolling around on the floor, grappling.
Yeah, that's
moving
it. Yeah, I think the Starfleet officers, they must have like combat training during their time at the academy and stuff like that.
Well, combat training is one thing. What I'm thinking is about, enjoying physical combat. I mean, and the Doctor describes boxing as like, a brutal, barbaric sport. The idea is to inflict as many injuries as possible on your opponent. And I'm with the Doctor on that one. That's my opinion. Yeah. I'm not
a fan of boxing. I'm not going to lie. I did a couple of kickboxing classes actually when I was at university, but that was mostly about the exercise and not about hurting people. But I would disagree with the Doctor on that because I think the most barbaric sport that humans take part in is horse racing.
Yes, you'll have no arguments with me on that one. But we don't know if horse racing is a thing in the 24th century, do we?
Hopefully not, because they've grown past that.
One would certainly hope so. It's certainly brutal on the horses. And let's hope they finally banned fox hunting.
Yes.
Tradition, my arse. Anyway, before we get too political, so bit of the don't get me started on Hancock.
Is that going to be one of those live streams today?
Well, it's just a distraction from the fact that Test and Traced have lost 600 million tests. They can only trace 14% of them, and it's cost us 37 billion and counting.
Jesus.
And the whole Hancock thing has only come out now to distract us from that. There we go. You heard it here first, folks.
It was rather convenient that they were right in front of a security camera, wasn't it?
Isn't it though? And he would have known where that security camera was because he spent a lot of time in that office. Yeah.
It's just as convenient as when, who's the bald guy? The one with the glasses that did his eye test.
That's me.
No, the one who did his eye test by driving the car.
Oh, yes. Cummings.
Cummings, that's it. As when he got sort of kicked out of number 10, and instead of going out the back entrance, which they normally use, he did this whole like amateur dramatic storming out the front door with his little box of stuff from his desk. That was staged. Absolutely staged.
But it was, and that wasn't even when he actually left and when he got sacked. That was later that he got sacked. That was all made up. Yeah. They do this diversionary thing a lot. So, yeah. There we go. Anyway, we've had some lovely comments in the chat. So Captain Quinn has met Garrett Wang. I'm so jealous. He did a Batleth instruction with Ray Park. Him and his wife are also on Twitch. Fantastic. Amazing. And Quinn also mentions that Wyatt Earp was the referee when the first African American was crowned a world champion in boxing.
I don't know who that is.
Dropping. Cool. Wyatt Earp was a famous person from the Wild West.
Oh.
That's as much as I know.
Cool.
I know bugger all about history. Where's Ed? Ed's the history buff. Anyway, trivia before we get too distracted again. So, we've mentioned about obviously recurring actors as a major theme in today's show. This was the only appearance of both Jeffrey Combs and J.G. Hertzler in Voyager.
Yeah, which I thought was odd, and they waited until like season 6 of it as well to get them both in. So what were they doing for the last 6 years?
Deep Space Nine. They were a bit busy. Give them a break.
Well, yeah, but what year did Deep Space Nine end? Because it wasn't 2000 before that.
I think it was around season 4 of Voyager. I think
There was a bit of a gap in between.
There was. To be fair. To be fair,
they could have had so much more Jeffrey Combs in there.
There's always room for more Jeffrey Combs.
Absolutely. You know, when I was younger, I used to think that Wei-Yun was played by the actor who was Elliot in E.T. Grown up.
Did you?
But it's not. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that.
Okay. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't.
He played the dad in Haunting of Hill House as well.
Did he? Excellent. So I've spilt some of my drink on my shirt. I'm trying to hide it, but doing a bad job. There we go.
Hugh Crane, that's his name. Hugh Crane.
Right.
No, Henry Thomas. Hugh Crane is the actor. Is the character, sorry. Henry Thomas, yeah. Yeah, he played Elliot in E.T. And I imagine if you put him in the like Wei-Yun style makeup, they would look very similar.
I can definitely see a resemblance in my head. But, I've been a fan of Jeffrey Combs for a long time. Ever since Reanimator.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Oh yeah, no, he's really good in that. And Frighteners.
Not seen that either.
Oh, was it Michael J. Fox's last film? Certainly his last film before he became particularly ill.
Oh yeah, he's got Parkinson's, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie, Frighteners. Fantastic movie.
All right.
Well worth
I'll add them to the list, Stu. Oh, and talking about the appearances in Voyager, this was the first time that Combs and Hertzler acted in the scene together.
In spite of them being in the same shows for a long time.
Yeah.
We mentioned Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson earlier, and when he appears, it's a tie-in between UPN shows Voyager and WWF SmackDown, which now apparently is WWE SmackDown for whatever reason. During the night, the fight between Seven and Dwayne, he used the Rock Bottom, which is his pro wrestling finishing move. Means nothing to me.
I think that's the bit where he's got her around the neck and like slams her into the floor. I think that's the one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Real
charming.
gentle. Lovely. And so Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, was the first WWE superstar to appear on Star Trek, but only one of 3 in total. The other 2 were Tom Lister Jr. and Paul White / The Big Show, who both guest starred on Enterprise. Which I still haven't watched all of.
Have you not?
No, because we watched the first episode a while ago, didn't we, for one of our shows?
We did, Broken Bow.
I never continued watching it because I just couldn't. Oh God.
We need to just, I don't know, sit you down at kind of like in one of my favourite movies, Clockwork Orange, and just, get your eyes peeled back and just show you all the Star Treks.
I mean, I have watched Enterprise when it was first on TV years ago, but I never enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the other one. So I just can't bring myself to. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a discussion for
Some
another.
of it hasn't aged well. Some of it
No.
has. I like Scott Bakula. Anyway, uh, so Eric Hunter, who played one of the alien guards in Tsunkatse, also played a command division officer in the episode Macrocosm. As a background actor, though, he received no credit for his appearances and was only identified by the name tags on his costumes, which were sold off on an online auction.
Interesting. I wonder if he's done any other TV shows then. Maybe.
Oh, undoubtedly.
The Herodian fighter in this episode is only slightly taller than the average height of a human male, about 6 foot, but well within norms and not significantly larger than 7 of 9. In previous episodes, the Herodian have been depicted as towering above the humans, like giants, and it seems that they got smaller as the series progressed.
Yeah, that struck me, because when you first see them, Tuvok gets captured, doesn't he, and gets taken aboard the ship, and they are absolutely feet above him.
Yeah, very like intimidating and scary looking, and I think this one just sort of a bit normal, a bit less scary.
Yeah, and if it was a one-off, you could understand maybe he was a runt, for want of a better term. Well, I mean, it's bound to happen. But when we see the Herodian later on, they're human-sized as well.
Yeah, I think maybe the guest stars just got sick of standing on apple boxes all the time.
Maybe. I mean, my theory is that the Herodian were planned to be an alien of the week, never to be revisited again. And maybe when they started introducing them more and more, it would have been too expensive to keep the size difference.
Yeah, and also I imagine shooting a fight scene, with all that choreography, it would be quite difficult to get the height difference on camera if the actor themselves isn't actually several feet taller than their partner in the scene.
Yes.
And they've got to scrimp that budget somehow.
That's right. Lord of the Rings did a good job of it, but it wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap. And
no.
Poor Ian McKellen as well. I remember watching an interview with him talking about that, and he said he cried, he broke down at one point and said that's not why he became an actor. He sat in a green screen room by himself. It's not fun.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that that experience. I watched his recent thing on stage. Well, I watched it on TV.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't so much with Lord of the Rings, but it was in The Hobbit, where he's a lot of his scenes were filmed just him alone in a green screen room, and all the rest of them were sort of added in later. And yeah, he said that it was heartbreaking for him not being able to act with actors, just being on his own. And he said it's not why he became an actor, and he hated it.
I mean, especially with his theatre background, I can definitely see.
Yeah.
See that one. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Cool. Right. So, obviously, Ian McKellen has played many, many different characters. But never in Star Trek.
What a shame. They should have sorted that out.
It's never too late.
You think he would have, considering him and Patrick Stewart are such good friends.
Well, maybe a pop up in Picard.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Yes, I can.
I would love it.
I mean, let's face it. The man did Coronation Street, so if he's willing to do that and he's not willing to do Star Trek, then I can go off him very quickly.
I didn't know he did Coronation Street.
Yeah, he did about 5 weeks on Coronation Street. That was a few years ago now.
Oh my God.
I know.
I don't watch soaps, so I wouldn't never have known this unless you just told me.
Well, I don't. It's just kind of knowing about the people. I mean, Freddie Jones was in one of the soaps for years.
Incredible.
I mean, you can understand when they're at the beginning of the career, what's his name, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Because he started didn't start in Neighbours, but early in his career he was in Neighbours, and that's how he built his name. Or was it
Margot Robbie did Neighbours as well, didn't she? Or did she do Home and Away?
Yeah. Kylie, Jason, all the rest. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it working that way, but for McKellen to go, oh yes, I've done Lord of the Rings now. I've done all the Shakespeares. I know what I'm missing off my CV is a bit of Coronation Street.
I love that. I'm going to go and try and find some clips of that online later.
Sadly, you'll find plenty. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Anyway, I was trying to sort of segue there from.
I'm messing up all of your segues today. No. Carry on, Stu.
It's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting discussion. But let's do a deep dive on recurring actor. So, to clarify, this is not just actors coming back again, but this is actors playing different and multiple roles within Star Trek.
Indeed.
Now, only 5 actors have had the distinction of playing 7 or more different characters throughout Trek.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, Jeffrey Combs is, the one everyone talks about. And if you're a member of Star Trek ship posting on Facebook, you will see memes about him every day. So he played 8 different characters. He played Brunt on DS9, Weyoun, obviously, who I mentioned earlier. Danny, shh. Sorry. Shran on Enterprise, Tyron on Deep Space Nine, Kevin Mulcahy on DS9, Penk on Voyager, Krem on Enterprise, and a Holosuite guest on Deep Space Nine.
Yes, and following up close behind with 7 appearances across Trek, you have Randy Oglesby, who played Degra, probably the role he's most famous for on Trek, I would say, in Enterprise. He also played Trinal on Enterprise, played someone called Keir in Voyager, Silaran in Deep Space Nine, Rokel in Deep Space Nine, Arkel in Deep Space Nine, and a scholar or artist in the Next Generation. I can't say next generation. Next generation. Enunciate.
Next up, we have J.G. Hertzler, who we also mentioned earlier, who played the Drukmani captain in Lower Decks, Klingon captain in Enterprise, Advocate Kolos in Enterprise, the Herodian Hunter from this episode of Voyager, Martok in Deep Space Nine, Lars in Deep Space Nine, Roy Ritterhouse in Deep Space Nine, and a Vulcan captain in Deep Space Nine.
Yep. Now, we talk about Jeffrey Combs as being like one of the most prolific actors throughout Trek. And he is very, very well known for it. And that must really, really piss off our next mention, Vaughn Armstrong. Mm-hmm. Because Vaughn Armstrong, most notably, played Admiral Forrest in Enterprise. He played a Cretacean captain in Enterprise. He played a Klingon captain in Enterprise. Words. He played Korath on Voyager. He played a Herodian on Voyager. He played a Vidian captain on Voyager. He played Lansor, or otherwise known as 2 of 9, in Voyager. He played Telek Ramor in Voyager. He played Seskal in Deep Space Nine, Gul Dunar in Deep Space Nine, and Commander Corris in The Next Generation. He has played 11 different characters in Star Trek.
What a feat. And that's in so many different series as well.
Yeah. I mean, he beats Jeffrey Combs. That's all I'm going to say.
And you know what? I knew about Jeffrey Combs playing loads of characters because of all the memes. I don't think I've seen a single meme about Vaughn Armstrong.
Nope. I know. It's unfair. And we need to address this. We need to fight back on behalf of Vaughn. I mean, I'm a big Jeffrey Combs fan, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get on the phone straight away to the creators of all the memes in the universe.
You do that.
Next up in our list is Thomas Capaci, who played 7 different characters. He played an alien in the episode Harbinger in Enterprise, Toss in Enterprise, Kira Tahan in Deep Space Nine, Vyorsa in Voyager, comm officer in Star Trek Generations, engineer in Next Generation, and Marok on Next Generation.
Yeah, of course, Kira's father.
My dad.
Was, Kira Taban. Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Oh, yeah, now, Quinn actually mentions an interesting point. Do all the Wayuns count as one, or as many that have appeared on screen? I'm counting them as one. But they are different, technically different characters, maybe?
I don't know. If you count them as one, I'll count them as one.
Well, they're clones of the same people. Although one of them is very different.
That's a good point, actually. Captain Quinn said they all had different personalities.
Well, one of them certainly had a different personality. I don't know about all of them. That's a very interesting point, and one that we're going to leave everyone to make up their own minds on.
Yeah, let's do
now,
that.
Of course, those 5 actors, though, are not the only ones who have played multiple characters on Star Trek, are they, Keira?
We've got some other notable actors who deserve honourable mentions. So take it away, Stu.
Yes.
Who's our first one?
You have Majel Barrett, of course. It's good to be married to the creator of Star Trek, it seems, because she played Christine Chapel in the original series. She was the voice of the computer in the original series, and the voice of the computer, of course, in The Next Generation. And she played Lwaxana Troy as well.
One of my favourite characters. I love Lwaxana Troy. Next up, we have Data. Well, Brent Spiner, who played Data. He also played Data's brother Law. B4, Dr. Noonien Song, in all Next Generation and movies. Dr. Arik Song in Enterprise, and Alton Inigo Song in Picard. So they all look the same, so I guess that's easy enough to replicate.
They certainly do. Someone who looks very different in multiple roles, and we were saying off air we both particularly like this person, don't we? Is Susie Plaxon, who played Silar. Get it right, Silar in The Next Generation. Of course, Kalia in The Next Generation. Now, she's credited as the female Q, but I like Janeway's reference, Miss Q, because it makes me think of snooker. Miss Q in Voyager, and Tara in Enterprise.
I do love Susie
Tara? Tara.
Tara. K Tara.
Yeah. I know she's Andorian.
Yeah, I really love her as Kayla. I think it was a real shame that they killed her character off, because I felt like there was much more potential with Alexander, with his mother, and I felt like it sort of lacked something without her there.
Well, given what a shit father Worf was, it was more unfortunate for Alexander.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Poor Alexander. It's a good job he had a friend like Lwaxana to help him out in a mud bath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next on the list, we have Michael Dorn, who played Worf in Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and the movies, a defense attorney in Star Trek 4, and Willie Hawkins in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, you've also got, keeping with the Klingon theme, Tony Todd, who's quite a famous actor in his own right. He played Kern in The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. He played Jake Sisko, of course, an older Jake Sisko in Deep Space Nine, and he was a Hirogen in Voyager as well.
You know, all these people playing Hirogens could have just sort of... You might not have noticed, really, because they all just look the same, don't they? So it's a good job they're credited, otherwise we'd never know.
Could have been me.
It could have been me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, we have David Warner, who played Gul Madred in Next Gen, Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek VI, Ambassador St. John Talbot in Star Trek V.
We have Susanna Thompson, who played Varel in The Next Generation, Inmate Jaya in The Next Generation, Lenara Khan, of course, probably their most famous role in Deep Space Nine. But, and I didn't know this, she was also the Borg Queen in Voyager. I did not realise it was the same actor.
Yeah. We love a Borg Queen. She's amazing. And then we have... This is another actor who often gets a lot of memes made about him as well. It's Mark Alimo, who played Badar in Next Gen. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's an N and two Ds. Commander Tabok in Next Gen, Gul Masset in Next Gen, Frederick LaRouque, Next Generation, and Gul Dukat, Deep Space Nine, and Burt Ryan in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Now, there are other characters as well. Before we go into the... Whoa, it's way too far. Other characters who played multiple characters. You have, and we'll rattle through these, shall we? George Murdoch, James Cromwell, Robert O'Reilly.
Armin Shimmerman, Diana Muldaur, and Renee Auberjonois.
Tim Rush, Jonathan Del-Arco, Gwyneth Walsh.
Aaron Eisenberg, Eric Pierpoint, James Sloyan.
Do you know what? We're going to be here forever. Right, there have been in total 101 actors who have played multiple roles in Star Trek. 101! We're not going to list them all.
That's incredible. No.
We respect them all. I mean, there is actually a good reason why they reuse the same actors multiple times. I don't know if you're aware of this, are you, Keira? Why they tend to do it?
Possibly not, no.
It's a lot of it's to do with the prosthetics and the makeup, because on the one hand, it's not all actors can sit for like 4 or 5 hours in the makeup chair, then go and do a full day's work. And of course, not many actors can perform through heavy prosthetics as well. I mean, you look at your Robert O'Reilly's. Take all that off, he'd be overacting it massively. So that's why they tend to stick with people who they know they're going to get good stuff out of. They're reliable. They're a known entity.
Yeah. Do you know who is one who I wanted to mention as well, while we're on the topic, is Susan Gibney, who played Leah Brahms, because she also played another character, but neither of her characters have any makeup or prosthetics. They're both human, and you can tell it's the same person, but it's a completely different character, and there's no explanation for it.
Who was her other character? You're not thinking the hologram of Leah Brahms, are you?
No, well, she played the hologram of Leah Brahms and actual Leah Brahms, but she also played another character. It's one where they're sort of... It's in Deep Space Nine. Oh, here we go. It's Homefront and Paradise Lost. She plays Captain Erica Bentine.
I'm trying to picture it and I'm struggling.
It's a two-parter where they're sort of... It's got Admiral Layton in, and it says there's a lot of stuff going on with the Dominion, I think, and she's being ordered to like destroy their ship, but then she changed their mind at the last minute and chooses not to destroy it.
I'll have to revisit that.
Yeah, there's like
because I can't picture her in it.
There's like a state of emergency on Earth, to do with the Dominion. I'm trying to remember the name of the... I can't remember. But yeah, she's in it, and not as Leah Brahms.
Oh yes. If I remember rightly, she's the one who comes to get the blood sample from Sisko's dad. and he refuses.
Yeah, there is something to do with a blood sample. Yeah, but she.
No, I'm mistaken. No, it's the Red Squad one when Red Squad caused the blackout. She's the adjutant.
But Leighton orders them to destroy the Defiant, and they come head to head, but they refuse to destroy the Defiant.
Yes, she's Leighton's adjutant. Yes, I can. Yeah, no, I didn't realise that was the same actor. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Now I can picture it. Fantastic. Well, there's one that I wanted to mention as well, that some people might consider he's played multiple roles, but obviously is not the case when we really think about it, is of course Robert Duncan McNeill.
Yes. So
who has not played multiple roles, has he?
He has, because his character in Next Generation has a completely different name and a different personality.
Well, right, so fandom has said that actually it's the same character, he just renamed himself.
Really?
Yeah, fandom said that.
But that's not canon.
Okay, but canonically he's playing the same character, because they wanted it to be Locarno, but they couldn't use Locarno because they'd have had to have credited the writer of that episode of The Next Generation every time they used Tom Paris.
Oh. Well, then it's
so
a
they gave him a different name. Well, is it?
I think it is a different character, yeah. They had to make it a different character. Because if it was canon, that it was the same character, but he just changed his name, they would have had to have credited the writer, wouldn't they?
Only if they explicitly said so in canon. If it happened
didn't.
kind of behind the scenes, as it were. But yeah, it's this whole fan theory that he didn't use his name Paris when he was in the academy because he didn't want special treatment being the son of an admiral. So he made up the name Locarno.
That doesn't check out in my mind, but you know what? If it's canon in your head, you can have it.
Well, what do our listeners think? Is Robert Duncan McNeill one for this list or not? Has he played multiple characters? And let's not forget, of course, he was in that terrible, terrible Masters of the Universe film.
Not seen that either.
Have you not? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Right, shall we head on over to the Divine Treasury?
Yes, let's.
Excellent. So, what I'm going to be showing everyone this week... Wrong one? No, that one. Right. Get it right. Is the arena ship from the episode Tsunkatse. So this is Eaglemoss. It is the 170th standard collection model. It's quite well detailed. There's not much in the way of actual die cast. So this central part is die cast and this sort of tail at the back. But that is Panks. There's a lot of... The trouble is this doesn't focus very well. There we go. But yeah, there's quite a lot of detail. I'm not too impressed by the satellite dishes being just grey, and it's almost like they're not painted. But otherwise, it's a nice ship. It looks quite aged the way it's sort of blended in with paintwork. It's very nice. It's a very nice model. It does look like a turtle. You're not wrong there. But I have something else very, very special that I wanted to show you all in this week's Divine Treasury, because during the week I received a box. Now the box is now empty, but I wasn't expecting anything, and I don't tend to receive things in boxes like this, so I was a bit, what's this? So I opened it up, and inside there was this card with my name on it, membership number 3 to the Elin Rahl fan club, which is now an actual thing, it says. awesome GM level. So for people who watch our Star Trek Adventures game every other Wednesday, that will make sense to them. So I was very, very pleased with that. It's signed by Elin himself. So I was very pleased with that. But in particular, what else came in it was this amazing model of the USS Livingston with its own stand. And I'm going to try and get this. It's probably not going to show, but it does say USS Livingston on the top there. It's got the NX registry number. It's very, very... It's beautifully hand-painted and modelled. It was created as a very, very special piece in conjunction between Matt, who plays Bosch in Star Trek Adventures. He printed them out with his 3D printer and painted up by our very own Ed. Absolutely amazing. And no, Captain Quinn, I do mean the USS Livingston. That is specifically which ship it is, which is from our Star Trek Adventures game. It's a prototype based on the Defiant class space frame, but a little bit different. And it was absolutely amazing. And that is now the absolute pride of my collection. I was
that's really
so...
sweet.
Do you know what, Keira? I was so touched to receive it. Were there tears? There were a few.
Oh, Stu,
absolutely
that's lovely.
amazing. You know, I mean, having all these ships, you know, that you go out and buy is great and wonderful. But something that's been made specially for me, you know, on the back of you know, the fun that we have doing the game. I'm, you know, getting emotional now. There we go. That was
really sweet.
yeah, absolutely brilliant. So there we go. The second Defiant class ship named Defiant, Captain Quinn, on screen was in fact the Defiant, Cisco's Defiant, the first one. The first Defiant was a Constitution class that was lost to the Tholians. We later find out it goes through to the Mirror Universe and their past.
Ooh.
There we go.
Shall we do news?
Let's do some news, yes, before I get too emotional.
Oh, bless you, Stu. That's adorable. The first lot of news we have for you today is about Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, shall I call up the Prodigy picture with all the characters in it?
Do it. Go for it.
There we are.
Amazing. So we've been given the names of the voice talent and the names of the characters. So I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly because I don't know who this actor is. Riley Alazraki is Rock Tark, which is the Precarian. Brett Gray is Dal, which is unknown. Angus Imrie plays Zero, who is a Medusan. Jason Mantzoukas is Jankum Pog, who's a Tellarite. Ella Purnell is Gwyn, and that's a Val Nakat. D. Bradley Baker plays Murph, who is the unknown blob that everybody has been so excited about.
So to put names or faces to those names, Roktark the Bricarian is the one on the far right as we're looking at this picture, isn't she?
The red one.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the dungarees.
Love it. I thought that was a boy, but I'm glad that it's a girl.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The Medusan Zero, we thought it was going to be a robot, but of course Medusans, you'd go insane if you were to look at one, so apparently that's like a suit to house the Medusan.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Jankum, so we thought perhaps that was going to be a Talaxian, didn't we? But he's not. He's a Tellarite.
There
which
was
is
some speculation among people on Twitter, and a lot of people were saying maybe he was a Tellarite crossed with a Talaxian. But there you go. We know for sure it's a Tellarite. So that's awesome.
and Jason Mantzoukas is absolutely hilarious.
Mm.
I think from did you ever watch The Good Place?
Yes, I have seen The Good Place. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Derek. It's Derek from The Good Place. What's his name from the Parks and Recreation?
Oh,
The one with the aftershaves.
yeah. Oh, I can't remember his name in that,
I've
but
forgotten
he's
his
also
name.
in Brooklyn
Dennis
Nine-Nine.
Firestein.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, yeah, and he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as one of Rose's boyfriends as well. The crazy, crazy guy.
Excellent. So very well established and very hilarious.
Mm.
Yeah, Murph, this unknown blob. Obviously, that's the blob. And Gwyn, the Vaunacat. She's the one between the Tellarite and Janeway, isn't she?
Nice. Yeah, she looks cool.
Yeah, and that leaves Dal on the other side of Janeway, who we don't know where Dal's from. So none of us unfortunately are doing voice characters to this, Paul. Sorry. There we go.
It should have been us.
It should have been us. But yeah, so if we're looking at a Tellarite, a Medusan, a Bricarian, we're looking at the Alpha Quadrant then, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be the Delta Quadrant as we previously thought.
I hadn't even considered that.
It's a thing for us to be aware of. Interesting. So looking forward to hearing more about it.
Yeah, and that means if it's in the Alpha Quadrant, we may be getting some like guest stars playing characters we already know and love.
Yeah, could well be. Let's have some crossovers. Let's have a Prodigy Lower Decks crossover. That's what I want right there.
Oh my god, that would be so cool.
Wouldn't it just though? Absolutely fantastic. So, in other news, and this one's probably a bit more up my street, because I'm a big kid. Playmobil, who are famous for making toys for younger kids, are releasing, it's currently only available for pre-order, a giant, and I do mean giant, USS Enterprise playset. And I'll call it up because there it actually is. And oh my goodness, does this ever look exciting. The side comes off the secondary hull so you can see into engineering. The top comes off the bridge, off the saucer section, so you can get into the bridge. It looks absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's not just minis. These are so the whole thing. Sorry, I'm getting all ridiculously excited about this. It is 42 inches long. That is nearly 4 foot.
Wow, that's like 4 subways.
It's huge. It is. In fact, it's 3.5 subways.
3.5 sub. Jeez. I couldn't eat that many if I tried.
Wouldn't be able to fit it on screen. It's that big. It's 18 inches wide and it is electronic. It lights up, it makes noises, and it's all controllable via a Bluetooth app. I told you I'm ridiculously excited about this. It includes your original crew. You can see just there Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Bones, Uhura, Scotty, and I imagine he plays a better Scotty than Simon Pegg does, Chekhov, and of course Sulu. I love Simon Pegg to bits, but he's terrible as Scotty.
It's not a patch on the real thing.
Not at all. I mean, Simon Pegg can do a real Scottish accent almost. So there we go. Yeah, like I say, it opens up on the bridge. It opens up on engineering, and you can display it on a stand or suspended. It is only currently available for pre-order at the moment. You can get it from, I need to remind myself of the name of the website, entertainmentearth.com is where you would find that. And take a deep breath, Keira. It is $500. I know. And as Paul says, we know what's on my Christmas list. Captain Quiz asked if I've pre-ordered it yet. I have not. $500 is a lot of money, even for me.
Outrageous, isn't it?
It's 42 inches long. I mean, come on.
I mean, what they should do really is sell the components, so you don't have to spend all of that money in one go. You can buy the parts over time and like have maybe the toys come in different boxes or something. Like,
well, I'm already doing this sort of 3-foot build your own enterprise deal in part works as it is. I don't need more of those. So Paul has suggested I create a GoFundMe page.
GoFund Stu Playmobil.
Fantastic. Captain Quinn has asked, what's the postage? It is free postage within the US. I have no idea what the postage is for the UK.
Get it posted to our hotel in Chicago. There you go.
And see if I can pronounce this correctly. Boob Pillowers has said that I should roll damage for that personal attack on Simon Pegg. That's an interesting name right there. I wonder if it's Ross. But there we go. Yes, get one when we go to Chicago on the trip.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
You can fit it in your suitcase on the way back.
There's not going to be any space in my suitcase, Stu, that's for sure. Oh dear. So
Fantastic.
our last piece of Star Trek news this week is about the Voyager documentary, which I am so excited about. And if you use Twitter a lot, then you will have seen the pictures, or I think they've put some on Facebook as well, of all the interviews they've started doing. So this week, To the Journey began its first in-studio production in Los Angeles. Interviews conducted this week were with Martha Hackett, who played Seska, who I've cosplayed before. Also interviewed were guest actors Alexander Enberg, Scott McDonald, Jeffrey Combs, who we've talked about a lot this week, and Vaughn Armstrong, who deserves all the recognition for his 11 characters. So I'm ridiculously excited to see what they will have had to say about Voyager, if they've had any interesting stories from behind the scenes, and like just happy memories they would be sharing, hopefully, and any negative ones. I love a bit of gossip.
Absolutely. And Boob Pillowers is in fact Sam, my nephew. So so we need a word later about that name, but yeah.
Amazing.
Bless. So great to see you, Sam. Thanks for joining. Gosh, yes, and someone else who's been interviewed as well for the Voyager documentary might interest Captain Quinn, Dr. Erin, who runs a Sunday Star Trek stream at 6 p.m. over here. Who she's a scientific advisor, I think, for Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
a weekly stream. So yeah, Dr. Erin's been interviewed as well this last week.
Amazing.
So fantastic. And Captain Quinn also mentions that there's a few Star Trek people headed to Wales Comic Con as well. I won't be going. Dr. Erin McDonald. That's it.
The one. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I am so excited for that documentary.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, premiere.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have to do my makeup for that, because this is bloody awful, I feel. I won't be trying this again in a hurry. I'll stick with the cosplaying.
You do that.
Fantastic. Well, that's it for another week. My goodness.
What a brilliant week it's been, discussing all the different amazing actors who have graced our televisions and our Netflixes.
Absolutely. But don't forget to join us next time when we'll be discussing something similar but different. We'll be doing a deep dive on recurring characters. So not actors this time, but recurring characters across different Star Trek series.
We will also be discussing the Enterprise episode. These are the Voyagers, which means I will have to watch more of it.
Yeah, so you've watched the first one. Now you'll be watching the last one.
Oh, okay. I just get to skip the middle. That's fine.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Without surprise.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who will agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Although you do miss out on Bakula, who is great. We will, of course, be paying another visit to the Divine Treasury.
And we will be giving you the latest news from the Star Trekverse.
Yes. Do you think we might get another Kira's cosplay next week, or...?
I am going to do my absolute best. And if my phone doesn't arrive for me to finish off my bat'leth, I will do another makeup tutorial.
Excellent. You heard it here first, folks. Putting pressure on Kira on air because I didn't ask off air. You can always say no. You do have the right to say no.
I said yes, so now I have to commit.
Excellent. Something to look forward to, so don't miss that one. Maybe you can do Klingon and, show me. I was
thinking that. I did the Bajoran nose last time, didn't I? So maybe I should do Klingon. There you go.
That's a thought. It's a thought. Anyway, whatever you do, I'm sure we will absolutely love it. So in the meantime, everyone, peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.